Texas Democrats shut down a shameless GOP power grab with a truly historic walkout, and the justification for it is it's just infuriating. I mean, you have to hear the sheer audacity in this clip where a Republican senator tries to sell the whole thing by like droning on about hearings and process as if he isn't actively trying to rig the state's maps for the next decade. Let's watch the full clip and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
Senator King is recognized for motion to suspend the regular order of businesses on SB 4.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I know that there's been a lot of discussion about this bill coming forward today, and everyone has different perspectives on it. I would like to, with your permission, though, and patience, there are some things I know we have a lot of people watching online that haven't been watching the hearings or keeping up with it like we have, and then there's just some things that kind of need to get on the record, so I'd like to take a little bit of time to walk through this to make sure that every member knows how we got to where we are and where I think this is going. And then after that, I'll be happy to answer any questions I can, and I'll just try to answer them as truthfully and as thoroughly as I can. So with that, just by way of where the process to date, I introduced SB 4 in our select committee on Monday, August the 4th. SB 4 is the companion to HB 4, line for line, which passed out of the House committee on August 2nd, 2025. There had been discussions of waiting for the House bill to get here, but just like each of you have done 100 times on different bills, when you have a companion and it stalls in one body, you try to do what you can to get it moving in the other body, which is why I went ahead and filed the companion and began with hearings. As I said, I want to take a moment to discuss the process to date, specifically the public input we've received on SB 4 and redistricting in general. First, this plan is based on the 2020 census data, not any annual estimates. Since 2020, the Senate has held 21 regional and other public hearings, and the House has held just as many. Those hearings have afforded the legislature an abundance of opportunities to hear the public's thoughts about the 2020 census data and redistricting as a whole.
Okay, so let's first talk about the illusion of public input they're trying to sell. When politicians brag about holding dozens of hearings, they want you to picture a genuine dialogue where they listen to citizen concerns and adjust their plans accordingly. The reality was a complete sham. I mean, these were performative sessions where hundreds of Texans testified, providing overwhelming evidence that the proposed maps would disenfranchise them, only to be completely ignored. This wasn't a listening tour, no. It was a cynical exercise to create a paper trail for the inevitable court challenges. It's a tactic designed to provide a legal shield for a morally bankrupt process, right? To understand the scale of this deception, I mean, you have to look at the hard numbers from the 2020 census. Over the last decade, Texas grew by nearly, 4 million people. The data is crystal clear. Communities of color accounted for 95% of that growth. Specifically, the state added nearly 2 million Hispanic residents, over 500,000 Black residents, and another 500,000 Asian residents. This is the undeniable demographic reality of modern Texas. So any fair and representative map would have to reflect this monumental shift by creating more districts where these communities have a voice. Instead, the maps they force through achieve the exact opposite. It's a feat of political malpractice that is frankly racist in its outcome. Despite the massive growth in the minority population, the new congressional map, for instance, did not add a single new Hispanic or Black majority district. In fact, It was drawn to reduce the number of competitive districts and shore up white Republican incumbents. They meticulously used that census data not for representation, but as a weapon to surgically crack and pack minority voters, diluting their power and ensuring their growing numbers wouldn't translate into political influence. We also have to address the timing of this entire affair. See, redistricting is supposed to be a once-a-decade process that follows the census. This effort was a mid-decade power grab, an extraordinary move that just screams illegitimacy, a political party that believes it can win on the merits of its ideas. They don't need to rig the maps halfway through a cycle. This is a flashing red light. It's a desperate move by a party that has looked at the state's demographic future and decided to break the system itself rather than evolve and compete for votes on a level playing field. And the psychological effect of this is just as insidious as the policy. Maybe more so. By adopting a dry procedural tone to defend these actions, the senator is engaging in a tactic meant to make opponents feel crazy. The message is, how can you be so outraged? We are simply following the rules. It's a way of invalidating the legitimate anger of millions of people whose rights are being systematically stripped away. They want to frame the victims of this power grab as emotional and irrational or something, while they portray themselves as the calm, steady hand of governance. Ultimately, this isn't just about politics. It's about cementing minority rule. The goal is to create a system where a shrinking demographic can maintain control over a growing, diverse majority for the next decade. It is a fundamental betrayal of the representative democracy we are supposed to have. They are insulating themselves from accountability, ensuring that no matter how the public votes, the outcome is largely predetermined. It is the political equivalent of fixing a game before it even starts. It really is. The real world consequences they're devastating. When you dilute a community's vote, you dilute their ability to advocate for their needs. This translates into tangible harm, underfunded schools, inadequate healthcare access, environmental neglect, and a lack of accountability for law enforcement. Stuff like that. This isn't an abstract political game. It is a direct assault on the well-being and civil rights of millions of Texans, orchestrated by people who have wrapped their scheme in the language of bureaucratic procedure. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. While you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.